This session of the Learning Lounge covers the process of managing the equipment that you rent out to your customers. The rentals process consists of 2 setup activities to define your rental equipment and the rental rates that you offer, and 1 operational activity where you manage the actual rentals. Let's start by defining the machines and equipment that you have available to rent. The rental machines form is a combination browse grid and single record editor. The scrollable list at the top of the form lists all the machines you have defined as rental equipment. To edit one of those machines, click on a row and that machine will be loaded into the editing area at the bottom of the form. Click the Add button in the Record Navigator to add a new rental machine. Begin the machine definition by selecting the make of the rental machine. If the make you want to use is not listed, you can add new makes in the lookups table, with the lookup type set to makes. When you select a make, the drop-down for the model will be loaded with all the registered models for the selected make. If the model you want to use is not listed, you can use the Makes and Models browse form to register new make and model combinations. The rental type drop-down includes all the items in the lookups table where the lookup type is item types. Although not required, it is recommended that you enter the serial number for each rental machine. This is particularly important for rentals that leave the store. From the Period Units drop-down, select the units of time that the machine will be rented for. The options include half hours, hours, days, and weeks. If there is a minimum length of time that the equipment can be rented for, set the duration in the minimum rental period field. The replacement cost is also optional, but it can be useful to let the customer know what the replacement cost would be if the machine was lost, damaged, or not returned. Finally, the active checkbox should be checked if the machine is still being rented out. For machines that are no longer being rented, uncheck this box rather than deleting the rental. If you have multiple rental machines of the same make and model, each machine should be registered. This makes it easier to track which machines are currently being rented and which ones are available for new rentals. The next step is to define the rental rates. This form is very similar to the rental machines form we just looked at. We use the form to define the rates that are available for each make and model combination. These rates are defined separately from the machines themselves, as each machine type can have multiple rates. For example, a sewing machine may have one rate for hourly rentals and another rate for daily rentals. After selecting the make and model for the rental rate, select the time units for the rate. Next, enter the rental rate for the selected time units. If a late fee will be charged for late returns for a rental, enter that fee in the late fee field. Finally, enter the grace period for late returns, in units of hours. If the grace period is less than an hour, enter a decimal value, such as 0.25 for a 15-minute grace period. We'll look at how the late fee and grace period are used in a bit. Now that the rental machines and rates have been defined, we are ready to start renting out the machines. The rentals form is divided into 2 main sections, the checkout section and the check-in section. Begin by using the Find Customer Fast Search field to find the customer that will be renting out the machine. If the customer is not yet registered, click the Register Customer button to register the customer now. By default, a new rental will get the status set to draft. This status will change automatically as the rental process progresses, but can also be set manually. The rental number will be assigned automatically by the system. The selected customer's name will appear in a read-only field. Select the machine being rented from the Machine Rented drop-down. This list will include all the available rental machines, listed by make and model. The Checked Out By field is automatically set to the currently logged-in user, but you can choose another name from the list. Note that only employees assigned to the rental agent role will be included in this list. Next, select the rental rate that will be used. This drop-down will include all the defined rates for the make and model you selected. When the rate is selected, the rate amount will be set automatically. In special circumstances, you can override this standard rate amount with a different value. The expected duration of the rental is entered in the field between the rate and cost fields. The label on this field will change based on the rental rate you have selected. Once the duration has been entered, the cost field will be set automatically. This value can also be overridden if necessary. The late fee and grace period are also shown. Now select the start date for the rental. This should be set to today's date if the customer is starting the rental now. It can also be used to schedule a rental for a date in the future. The Notes field can be used for any notes you want to record for the rental. If the machine is rented with additional accessories, click the Accessories button to show a list of registered accessories. Select one or more items by checking the boxes. If the accessory you are including is not listed, you can manually type in the accessory name in the Additional Items area, or go to the Lookups table and add the item with the lookup type set to Rental Accessories. When the customer is ready to take possession of the machine, click the Start Rental button. This will set the start date and time fields to the current date and time, and change the rental status to In Progress. This concludes the checkout process. The check-in process begins when the customer returns the machine. The due date field will have been set automatically when the rental began. Click the Finish Rental button to set the return date and time. The Checked-in by field will be set automatically to the currently logged-in user. The rental fee will be set automatically, based on the rental rate and the duration of the rental. If the machine is returned after the scheduled duration, no late fee will be assessed if the late period is less than the grace period for the selected rate. If the late duration is more than the grace period but less than a full rental time unit, the late fee will be added. If the late duration is more than a full rental time unit, the rental fee will be increased by the rental rate for each rental time unit. For example, let's take a case where the rental rate is $10 per hour, with a 15-minute grace period and $5 late fee, and the machine is rented for 2 hours. If the machine is returned in 2 hours and 15 minutes or less, the rental rate will be $20 with no late fee. If the machine is returned in 2.5 hours, the $5 late fee will be added. If the machine is returned a full 3 hours late, the rental fee will be $30, with no late fee. If the machine is damaged when it is returned, assess the amount of the damage and enter it in the damage fee field. The total cost field will calculate automatically by adding up the rental fee, late fee and damage fee. The total cost can be manually overridden if desired. If the customer is ready to make a payment for the rental, click the Make Payment button. A new sale will be started with the rental listed as a line item. Add other line items to the sale if necessary, then enter the payment method and finish the sale. You will be returned to the rentals form, and the Paid checkbox will be checked. If the store has defined rental-related emails, you can select an email from the emails list and then click Send Email to send the email to the customer. If the store has created rental-related documents, such as a full-page receipt, you can select the document from the print list and click the Print Item button. Watch the lesson on defining documents for information on how these emails and documents are created.